Hey, thanks for tuning in. And while I have your attention, I would like to direct you over to Enter the CRoMniVerse, Anthology Volume 1. This is a comic book that I am working on. We are raising funds through Indiegogo, and right now we're running the email list. So if you would please check the description in the link below. I will have the email list for you to go sign up for Enter the CRoMniVerse Anthology Volume 1. You are not going to want to miss this. Crom is an internet troll. He literally lives inside the internet. He is a character created by Pops Van Zant and brought to life artistically by Edwin Artex Badillo. And we are putting together an anthology with a lot of great artists, like Edwin is contributing, Doc Blaylock. I have a story, Eric Hodson, Paul Gomez. There are so many more people that are joining in and helping to contribute stories to this anthology. So please check the description below and click the sign up link, put your email in, and we will update you on everything that is Crom. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for another exciting episode of the Play Nice podcast. I am your host, Ryan Andrew Nicewonder, and I am here with a couple of gentlemen, comic book makers, artists, writers, producers, people,
all the above except
all of
artists.
Except
yeah,
artists.
We're hashtag just a writer.
Just a writer. Okay. TaleEnd Studio and Dojo Kun Comics. I think I mispronounced yours incorrectly. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Comic producers. Is that the trade that you guys initially started in? Is this a full-time gig for you guys?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be great? No, actually, I'm a internal auditor, fraud examiner, anti-money laundering specialist during the day. So comic books are a hobby.
Okay.
I've collected for about 47 years now, and about 6 years ago, I started publishing comics as Dojo Kun Comics.
Okay.
I've done 12 floppy comics so far. And then about October of 2020, one of the guys that saw me posting a bunch of characters on Facebook reached out and said, "Hey, Brian, those are pretty cool characters and all, but I'm not sure you should be putting them out on Facebook like that until you get them published." And I said, "Oh, dude, I am published. I've got a company that I've been publishing comic books for a while now." He's like, "Oh, well, then you got to get into this indie community crowd that's online." He suggested a couple of sites to go to, some YouTube channels to be a part of, and I was hooked. I mean, the encouraging, supportive people that I've met in this community have been fantastic. I've made a ton of friends, like probably on the order of 100 or more friends who are supportive, giving advice on campaigns and all that. And then that leads me into what I was getting at, and that is I did my first crowdfunding campaign in 2021. It was called Siamese, and Siamese, it funded in 3 days, and then it fulfilled. Awesome. This is the hardcover version right here. Oh, Jake's going to get his. Awesome.
And this is the trade paperback.
That's the paperback version. Yeah, thanks, Jake.
Nice.
So Siamese is a collection of 4 issues. It was a mini-series that I had done, and I collected it into a trade paperback and crowdfunded that successfully. So that's, that was very encouraging. And so I'm again pushing the envelope a little bit, and I've got 2 campaigns to talk to you about today, but I don't want to get ahead of you. So that's kind of what I've been doing. This is still just a hobby. I foresee someday it could replace my income, but given what I do for a living, it might take a while to get before it can do that.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely, because sometimes these hobby quotes that we do, it always is something that you would love to be able to just wake up and knowing that's what you are making money for. I started my whole long journey on all of this doing music. So back in the early 2000s, actually even in the 90s, when I was in high school, playing in bands, constantly playing shows around the city, and so I was trying to make it doing music, and but I also I love comics, which is how I ended up getting in touch with you guys, because I do love comics. That's what I thought I was going to do until I started playing music, and then I was just like, oh man, this is where the women are at. This is
this is where the 90s comics were kind of a woman repellent.
Yeah, and so it's like it's because I draw very well, because my plan initially was to go to the Kubert school right out of high school. And so it's actually one of my biggest regrets. I would have been in PTP in Shane and Ed Piskor's class.
Oh wow!
And
really?
So because I graduated in '99, and so they were all there in the early aughts, late '90s, and so now I'm like, oh my god, if I would have went left instead of right, where would I've ended up? But I still love music. I still make music, regardless. I have a couple music projects I'm working on that I'll eventually get out. It's more for fun now for me. I'm not trying to necessarily do anything with it, but the whole point of all of this is to eventually get to the point where you can turn your art and your passions into an income, and out of that inspire people, which is one of the reasons I love independent artists and independent creators such as yourself. And so with having 6 years under your belt, before jumping into the crowdfunding campaign, I mean, was that how helpful was that on getting content and things to put out, do you think, for the first campaign that you launched?
Oh, well, definitely for the first campaign, it helped tremendously because I had all 4 issues already complete. The art, coloring, lettering, all of that was already paid for. So the campaign had to pay for the things like the prints, the hardcover printing, the keychains, the challenge coins, and things like that. So, I'm reaching for the challenge coin right now. So on the one side, it's got Dojo Kun Comics, and the other, it has the Siamese characters. Nice. So, the campaign had to pay for the extras, but the books themselves were done. So it helped tremendously that was already in the bag. And honestly, one of the campaigns we'll talk about tonight, the book is complete except for all of the extras needing to be produced. So that's a big plus. Now for the second campaign we'll talk about tonight, very little of the art is done because the campaign's going to have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. I got a really, a very skilled artist out of Brazil, but he's not inexpensive. We'll just put it that way. So the campaign's going to need to really, support that.
Right. That which is when when you're talking about the crowdfunding campaigns and things like that. Should it be ready? Should it not be ready? Which is the question a lot of people discuss. I'm in the camp of yes, for both of it, because sometimes you do have the idea, you do need something to go on, before you can get started, because these things take time, and time equals money in this day. It costs. Just.
People they land all over the board with that when it comes to being in the indie community. For me, with my first campaign, I had about 2/3 of the art completed with coloring and everything, but I didn't have any lettering done. So Eric Weathers came on board a little after the campaign fulfilled, or was a success before I fulfilled. But definitely making sure that people see that you're working on it, to me, is a must. If I just see a picture of it, but I don't see, any kind of updates or anything like that coming from the head of the campaign, that to me is a little where it gets a little gray.
It's kind of
But,
concerning at that point. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And so
Right.
I want to make sure that I always have something to show off, whether it's the prizes or if it's the pages from the actual book. Because one can come before the other. Like he said, you want to have like your first one like halfway completed or whatever before you like start launching it and trying to shill it out to people. But as Dojo here said, you know, this second campaign here is going to have to fund itself because as we spoke in the green room, I have somebody about to start crying right now. And so all the funds have been going to him and his comfort because a happy baby makes a happy life.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just sent out the 10 pages to my artist. He's getting over COVID right now, and he's been backsliding on some of his work with other indie creators because of the holidays and COVID and just things happening with his family. But I've worked with him throughout all of Cobalt. He's really good at pumping out pages when he needs to. He's a great artist. He's a great guy. He's very much keeping me up to date where he is on different projects. So I have no doubt that we'll be ready to launch, fulfill this thing after we launch around the same time that we did last year in July.
So he's professional and communicative. That's important.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Because the way I look at it is these are investments into small businesses. The different campaigns. And so as long as you're updated, some things may take a while here or there and being, exactly. Go for it.
So Ryan, I don't want to try to take over your show, but what I'll do is because Jake needs to go take care of his little one, what we can do is we can talk about the campaign that he and I aren't launching together. If you want to look at Toro Tales first, you want to do that?
Yeah, let's talk about Toro Tales. I have the. Can you see what I am showing?
No, I can't.
Let me see. What do you see of me on Zoom?
I just see your icon.
Oh,
now I can.
Oh my goodness. Of all of the I missed man, I thought I was doing good and I missed one button on the like that's when it comes to like all of these, linking different programs together and everything like that. They all have different buttons and everything that you need.
Before we were just talking. Now that you're showing this, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So yes, Toro Tales.
So for the sake of ease of pronunciation, it is Toro, but that's actually a Spanish word meaning bow. The word that you see here is To'urou, which is Japanese for that stone lantern that you see in my logo. So that's a Japanese stone lantern that represents Dojo Kun Comics. And
say that again, please.
It's To'urou. It's not easy. I can say some things in Japanese because I've studied karate for a while and I can say the Dojo Kun in Japanese. But this one's a tough one because it's 2 syllables each syllable.
Yes, with the accents. To'urou.
Right. To'urou.
And what is this about? I see it's an 88-page anthology. Going to be a bunch of different stories.
Yep, it's going to be 9 different stories. It's going to be introducing 10 different superheroes and a bunch of villains. As you can see, as you're scrolling through here, that's the cover of the first issue that came out as a floppy, but that only contained 4 stories. So this one's going to contain quite a bit more in this trade paperback. That right there is an example of Sakura, which is Japanese for the blossom, the cherry blossom tree. The next one is a example panel from Sovereign.
Okay.
The following after that is example panel from Lone Shark, Lone, like lone wolf, but he's a shark instead.
I was oops, I didn't mean to click on that. I was looking at some of your stuff earlier with the layout of some of the characters and the names, and I distinctly remember Lone Shark, and I was like, I like it. It's I am a fan. I don't know if you are I'm a Ben Edlund fan. The Tick. And
Okay.
so it kind of reminds me where it's very up my line of sense of humor where it's kind of a little tongue in cheek but like kind of punny, like nail on the head like type joke. So I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. And he like a water based a water
Right.
power. That's cool. And the let me go back to the and
then that one there is Bot 42. So it's the initials B, O, and T, which is biometric transportation.
Okay. Does the 42 have anything to do with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually that's why I picked that number.
Okay. I was that is another one when I looked at the page, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's
it's the answer to everything.
I wonder if that's the Douglas Adams thing. I'm not much of a book reader, more of a comic book reader. Actually how I got into the comics as a kid is I had trouble reading. I just wouldn't read, and my parents noticed that I liked comic books, and so they would be like, all right, I guess we'll buy him comic books. And so that kept my attention to get me to learn how to read and go through, at a higher level. But all of that to say, the Douglas Adams Hitchhikers books are some of my favorite books. I've read the whole series a few times.
Okay.
Just the whole thing like is great. The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. It's just such a good example of storytelling where I think's kind of lacking in a lot of our entertainment these days.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, awesome. I'm glad. No, that I was wondering if that was a Hitchhiker's reference, and so nice.
So as you scroll down here, I want to mention that what you see here is, imagine if the cover artist of these two books, and that's Shadow Sentry, did an homage to the next one, the Amazing Spider-Man variant cover.
Okay.
If he did an homage to that, but with my superheroes, which is the next picture,
yes,
then it would look something like the next picture. So there, he did an homage with my characters to that Amazing Spider-Man cover, and it's got all 10 of my characters that will appear in Toro Tales.
Oh, that is cool.
And there's some examples of the art. That's one page from Bot 42.
Nice. I like the design of Bot 42. It's
me too.
Is it inspired at all by the Fugitoid? Eastman and Laird?
Actually, no. The
Okay.
artist that came up with this creation is a New Zealand ad graphic designer. His name is Cy Lim, and Cy does work for a company called Mighty Ape, which would be the New Zealand and Australian version of Amazon, really.
Okay.
And he's a prolific artist for that company, and he had a whole bunch of other creations on his website, and I asked him, is that one already in use? And he said no. So I asked him if I could commission him for that one, and so that became Bot 42 from Dojo Kun Comics.
Okay. No, I like the design. I'm a big Eastman and Laird fan of the original black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So like it kind of reminds me of like Terminator Fugitoid.
Oh, all right.
Whereas the Fugitoid is a little more like friendly and streamlined, but similar like
Yeah, that's
proportions.
Similar
I like.
aesthetic.
and a what do you call it? A short circuit.
Right, yeah, Johnny Five.
Yep.
The yeah, those there needs to be a comeback of of those
Agreed.
practical effect movies.
Oh, I agree. I hate CGI.
Yeah,
But I hope that they improve the acting, because Short Circuit, the acting was terrible.
no.
I mean, she was hot and
Fair
everything,
enough.
but wow, she was bad.
The I think I was young enough to where it didn't bother me until I got
Right.
until I got a little bit older, and then yeah, there comes a point where like some of the stuff that I liked when I was a kid, I think still holds up, like Karate Kid, like at least the first one. Although Cobra Kai's made me appreciate 2 and 3 a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now when I go back and watch them, I'm like kind of pumped for it a little bit.
You've got to find the video that talks about how Danny LaRusso was actually not the hero of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
Where
a very interesting video where it's actually Johnny Lawrence is actually the hero. That Danny's kind of a bully, and I'm not saying I agree 100%, but it's a very intriguing and compelling argument for that. And then there's always those of us who are martial artists will tell you that the kick that he uses to win is an illegal kick in a tournament.
Right. Okay. And so yeah, so he's definitely the bad guy. Because I know that theory was presented in the How I Met Your Mother TV show.
Oh yes, right.
Barney.
I think they took it from there.
And because Barney was like, yeah, the Karate Kid, Johnny Lawrence. And so yeah, the that is which is actually a good segue to Sakura.
Yeah,
art.
it is. To Sakura. So she's a samurai, a female samurai. She is the archetype here is that she owns a multi-million-dollar business, but she's also a superhero. So that's about where the similarities end, though.
And then the Lone Shark.
Right, Lone Shark is basically Dojo Kun's version of the Namor or Aquaman.
Uh-huh.
And Sovereign would be our alien super strong being. And this one here, the art by Aaron Kearney, reminds me a lot of Mobius.
Yeah, definitely. He had a lot of good stuff. Definitely, the interesting palette choices.
So the first 100 backers of this, once it launches, are gonna get a free BD Buddy, which is a handcrafted bead creation of Canadian Shield, which you see there on screen. And then now you're down into the tiers, where you can buy my wife the hammer, Deanna, a fancy coffee. The next one is a digital tier for folks who like to bring it on their mobile device, or they'd like to avoid international shipping costs.
Right.
Then the next one is a physical copy of the book, which will be, like you read above, 88 pages, full color. At least 88. There's a stretch goal that we may reach that will increase the page count.
Okay.
Then here is the hardcover version with a cover by a married couple from Italy called The Art of Puro, where he does the line art and she does the coloring. So I think they do a great job together.
Yeah. That's got to be fun to be able to do something like that with.
To work together? Yeah, I agree. Now this one here, these chibis are not by the 6 a.m. Comics, although I like Mark Marianelli. This is by Alex Thompson. Okay. A guy I found on Etsy who does just a fantastic job with my characters, and he's very professional. When I ask him, just as an example, if you look at Bot 42 on the upper left there, when I tell him, here's the character, if you could make a chibi of this, he'll do like 6 different versions and then ask me which one is my favorite. Oh, cool. And then I get to keep them, of course, but I only use one on the campaigns. But I think that's great that he does that. He gives a bunch of different perspectives, so I can choose which one fits the character the most.
Right. Nice. Yeah. No, those are fun.
So this here is an add-on. And then this add-on that you're looking at is going to be a supplemental ash can, 8 pages long, and it's featuring this character called Bog, which if you were to, compare it to the archetypes of the big two, I guess it would be a swamp thing or a man thing, but his origin's very different and his powers, I guess they're somewhat similar, but there's going to be some. I make it my own. We'll just say that.
Right. No, visually he is, more animalistic, like definitely made of bark and tree and than what some of the big two. And I like to think of Moss Man from He-Man. That's my preferred. That's my preferred vegetation manipulation power guy.
Although I haven't done any role-playing games for more than a decade, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons and Rifts and GURPS and things like that. So
okay.
This character may also be somewhat inspired by the Ent.
Okay. I like D&D. I wish there were an easier way to do online D&D games with different people. I mean, I guess you could show the camera of the dice you roll, but that would be that is one thing I do miss about getting together with people and playing D&D. When I was out in LA, I had a group. We would before the lockdown, we would get together and play. It was a lot of fun. And so, but yeah, you were talking about Bog, which I like. I like the aesthetics of Bog. What and you said somewhat different. What is that?
So his origin is going to be he's going to have an alien origin. He will end up on Earth, but how he gets here is, of course, the storyline that you'll need to read, and that's in the supplemental ash can.
Okay. Nice. And he
and that's an add-on.
Plants and stuff. That's awesome.
And then a lot of people have catch-up tiers on their campaigns, like if there's Volume 1 and Volume 2. So the thing is, though, I didn't want to just put out Siamese with the same covers. I had 6 different covers, but I wanted the people who backed the first campaign to have their cover as sort of like a special edition. So for those who get the catch-up tier and order Siamese from this campaign, they're going to have that cover, which is a different one. It was not one of the 6 on the original campaign.
Nice. No, that's and that's a good idea to especially to distinguish the printings. The people that back the first campaign get the first printing, which from a collector's standpoint,
and from a collector's standpoint, the one who designed Bot 42 is the one who did that cover of Siamese, the one that was just above there. Oh. That's Cy Lim from New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Nice. I see the signature now. Cool.
And then for the stretch goals, so the campaign goal is going to be set at $5,000. At $7,000, there'll be a print that'll be included of Bot 42's first appearance. And then the next stretch goal is going to be at $9,000. There'll be an acrylic keychain of that same character, Bot 42. And that's Cy Lim's original design. And then at $11,000, there'll be a fridge magnet. You're welcome, Amanda, for the which features a bloodied Bot 42. And then when we reach $11,000, I've got another set of stretch goals that I will announce, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Right. Those are the ones that you talk about after the campaign. Right.
And then I hired Lenore from Comicsgate to do the voiceover for my trailer, and that's in the works. I've got to match her voiceover with the sound bed that I paid for with the video that I put together. So it's going to take a little bit of manipulation, but I plan to hit that trailer done before I launch. Awesome. And I'm launching this on my show a week from tonight, as a matter of fact. And we're taping this on a Wednesday. So on Wednesday, the 26th of January is when my campaign will launch on my show. I'm going to have 10 of us on the panel. So myself and a guest co-host, and then 8 guests will be on. And I'm going to have to rotate the guests in and out because I have free StreamYard, so I'm going to have just a few on at a time. But that'll work out because a few of them can only be there for the beginning of the show. So it's going to be fun.
It gets chaotic when they're like, and honestly, when the more, sometimes less is better. And it, it seems more like a party. People get to pop in and out and
right.
And say hi and
so that's it for the Toro Tales campaign, which is coming up next. Awesome. But I don't want to monopolize the show, so why don't we go ahead and talk to Jake about Cobalt, Death Stalks Us, and then he'll have a great segue back into my second one.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Cobalt, Death Stalks Us. I will also... I will include, for everyone listening, I will include the links to the corresponding campaigns in the description. So be sure to click on those and sign up and back. And boom, there's that button. Cobalt Death Stalks Us. Tell us about it.
So Cobalt Death Stalks Us is the second issue in an ongoing series that I created, got to start creating back in 2018. The first campaign was Cobalt, Atlanta's Thrashing, and this picks up right where the last page left off. So I do have a catch-up tier for those that are just coming on board for the character of Cobalt. But in this particular book, we are at the home of Jesse Jensen, Cobalt, when Detective Reyes is basically investigating Jesse Jensen. He in the first book, he kind of comes to her rescue during a gang rape, basically, and at the hospital he goes to check on her, but he's not too bright. He's not very good at thinking ahead. So he uses his actual name when interacting with the detective, and she goes and she starts investigating this guy because she doesn't know whether he's with the gang that jumped her or not. So she's going about seeing about Jesse, and which leads her to his home. And unbeknownst to the two of them, she's actually led a hired mercenary to his house. So now the detective and Jesse Cobalt have to take on this mercenary together to get out alive. So that's where this first 10 pages of this story launches us to the ongoing overall story.
And the kicker there, Jake, is that she doesn't know which side Jesse's on.
No, not at all. Not at all. Nobody knows who to trust in this one right yet, but we're getting there. But it's very much high impact. It's very much inspired by street level vigilantes. Growing up, I was very much a Nightwing addict. And of course, you can see that homage on his armor with the blue swoosh across his plating. But he very much also aligns himself with Daredevil, Moon Knight, and basically any street level fighter, that's ever, hit comics. But what makes Jesse so unique is that his origin story. He started out working for the cartel as a runner. And so he loses his hand during one bad drop. And he decides to take a little vengeance out on the cartel that took his hand. And so that leads him to meeting the individuals that encompass his new circle of friends. And you'll see those characters come out as big players later on down the line as well. Nice. Right now at this point with Death Stalks Us, I'm working on getting all of the prizes and physical tier rewards ready, since I'm waiting on Irwin to complete other stuff behind the scenes. But we very much are looking at fulfilling around the same time we did last year, which was July, but it was a little bit late August when the books actually got out to people. So July, August, we're still looking at as our goal.
Nice. And when are you launching? Do you know when you're?
Yes, I'm launching in conjunction with Dojo Kun Comics on February 18th.
Okay.
On Michael Bancroft's channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That is a nice. That's a good place to be launching. I'm working on a book with Pops Van Zant, and we're launching ours at the end of March.
Okay.
There, we've got a fun anthology called Enter the CRoMniVerse, Anthology Volume 1.
Okay, with Pops.
And so yeah, I'm helping Pops out. I'm managing the Indiegogo campaign, and I'm doing handling the production side. I'm helping to put together the book after all the the artists give me all of their stories and everything. Yeah. So I'm going to put it all together. I've also got a story in it as well. Got a fun 10-pager, and it's exciting. The Crom's a fun little character.
I believe it. It looks like a little devil.
Yeah, it's and and especially like keeping kind of like on the light mischievousness, where it's just like, it's just fun. Like there's no like. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a fun character. Like it's little old guy just goes in the internet and messes things up, knocks over dominoes just to watch what happens. And so it's characters like that are really fun. Like because I initially just hit Pops up to work on doing some networking, which is, originally why I hit you up, because I'm like, hey, I'm in the process of doing some things. I'm doing podcasts. I want to get out there and start meeting people that have adjacent hobbies and likes and stuff like that. I love comic books. I want to promote independent comics, so that goes in well with a lot of the other stuff I talk about, because I have interview musicians and stuff like that as well on here, and so I'm just kind of wanting to network, and I was like, oh man, so you're doing something that's like an anthology, because he was showing me all this awesome fan art for it, and I was like, oh cool, so you're putting together a thing? He was like, well, I don't know, and I was like, really? I was like, that's I was shocked it hadn't already been done, because he has such a good reputation with so many talented artists and writers, and so I was just like, oh, and I was like, well, if you don't feel like it, I'm down, man. I'll help out wherever I can.
That's one thing about Pops. He doesn't care who you are or where you're from. He wants to see you succeed no matter what.
Right.
It's just his energy is just, it's intoxicating. You want to get a little piece of it too.
But yeah, both a little piece of it or a piece of it. It's
yeah, man, he's a great guy. I've been on his show once. I plan on going back when we get Death Stalks us going. But yeah, I just love his overall energy and his character.
The CromCon is a fun event. Have you guys signed up? Are you do you talk to him?
Not yet, not this time around.
Okay. That's
his next one.
Okay, awesome. Yep. Awesome. He's going on your show sometime soon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Pop's coming on my show. Yeah, he's on the night I launch, right?
Okay.
I'm like, he's not bringing a campaign, but no, he's going to be there just as a
right. No, he was like, no, he was just mentioning he was going to be hanging out with you,
right. Sorry.
Like sometime coming up. No, not necessarily to do anything in particular, but yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the good things about the online the online comics community, like especially going on with like Comicsgate. It's just the fact that people want to commune with each other, like the creators want to talk to the fans, like the creators want to hang out with the creators, the fans want to hang out with the fans, and like turns out a lot of us aren't too far from like like other people, and it's
Right.
just been a very fun and encouraging community, especially with when you look online and just see all the like daggers being thrown everywhere at everybody for
right.
absolutely
Yeah.
anything. And it like, because I just moved to Kentucky. I grew up here, but I've been in LA for 10 years, and I just moved back because they weren't, I don't think they're ever gonna actually let anybody out fully over there. It's like,
I'm just below you, man. I'm here in Tennessee, and I understand what you're saying.
oh, awesome. Nice. I used to back in my music day, I used to hit up Nashville quite
bet you did.
frequently.
Down there on
Uh,
Broadway?
we played Cafe Coco a lot.
Okay.
Like a lot of the more outskirts. Like that's the one that I remember playing at the most.
I get you.
It was a fun little spot, 24-hour place. I lived in Knoxville for a while.
Okay.
Too.
I'm just a little bit north of Nashville, small
Okay.
town.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, you're really close to me. I'm in about 30 miles south of E-Town, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Okay, yeah.
So an hour north of Bowling Green. So we are
Oh, you're just skipping a hop away.
Yeah. So we are definitely in the same area. We'll definitely have to do a meetup.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like
Nashville's got a con.
somewhere.
It's not very
Yeah.
big, but it's got one.
I don't know if you're into wrestling, but I've half been tempted to go check out AEW. They're playing there next month.
Yeah. I only got interested with AEW as soon as I got back CM Punk. I was like, yes, good move.
It's man, it reminds me of some of the same energy that WCW had back in the
Attitude Era.
mid 90s. Yeah, because I was a huge NWO fan. Like the Raven was actually one of my favorite wrestlers. Like I loved his like I thought his whole shtick was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like he would just send his dudes out to get beat up for him. What about me? What about Raven? And so there's a lot of good stuff that derail. Anyway,
Oh, definitely.
AEW is fun. I'm very excited for that. They got a lot of Lucha Underground wrestlers. I don't know if you watched any of that.
They really do. It's odd. Like the only one that I ever knew from WWE was Rey Mysterio, but they've had guys like it's not who is it?
Pentagon Dark. He was from Lucha Underground. Like he was like an awesome wrestler. Brian Cage. He was from
they still
Lucha
look for
Underground.
actual underdogs.
Yeah. and they get people with talent, which has been one of the things cause I catch it on YouTube, like cause I don't have whatever
Same
channel it has, but I still get excited about like
WWE's losing a lot of fans and they're switching over to AEW because they're getting what they actually desire.
Yeah, and it's just the writing has just gone out the window. I recently found a VHS of the WrestleMania from 2003, I think.
Oh, wow.
The one where Vince McMahon wrestled Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
And stuff, and I was like, man, like WWE needs to go, like if they want to get people back, like they need to recapture that magic. Like because
they really pushed it when they had Edge becoming the rated R star way back when, and that's when they lost their Coca-Cola sponsors.
Okay.
So as soon as they lost their Coca-Cola sponsors while they were still on USA, I don't know if they still are or not, but yeah, as soon as they lost their Coca-Cola sponsors, that's when they started like dubbing down on all of the, more risque scenes and writing.
Okay. And then everything just
Yeah, plummeted. Now it's just making Triple H look good.
Yeah. It's but hey, at least there's some new, fresh, good stuff. So I'm glad Cody Rhodes went out there and did that, because he redeemed Gold Dust, I think.
He did. Yeah.
Because
with Stardust.
yeah, he, because I kind of like, even though it was kind of weird, there was something about him. Like I thought he was at least a good wrestler. And
see, that was still when I was young and I didn't know what the hell his gimmick was. Like, I just thought he was a weird dude. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I get what he's doing.
And then it kind of fell off and got even weirder. But I, like, being someone that was like a fan of all of that stuff back in the 90s, I'm happy to see that he's going out on a high note. For all the time that he put in. It's good to see that he is, going out on a high note, because some Undertaker, like,
some aren't so fortunate.
Yeah, the like some of his last few matches weren't were a little rough.
Yeah.
And so yes, Cobalt Death Stalks Us. That break was brought to you by love of all things awesome.
But Cobalt. I first started the idea back in 2018 because I met some people. Yeah, I met some people in the amputee community, because in 2013, 5 years prior, I became an amputee from working in a factory.
Oh, wow.
And so I lost 4 fingers on my left hand. Cobalt lost 4 fingers on his left hand due to different circumstances, of course.
Right.
Nothing seriously linear or similar there at all. But so I needed something to let this feeling out, and when I met a bunch of nerds in the amputee community, we all went down to Dragon Con in Artist Alley. Wow. And of course he looks at me and he's like, "So dude, have you ever had an idea for a hero?" And I just looked at him confused and I was like, who hasn't? I mean, seriously.
Right.
Like, we all thought of heroes in our own ways with our similarities or different, what have you, but we've all thought of one. And I told him about Cobalt.
Do days end with Y?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I told him a little bit of a less prepared version of Cobalt and everything, just like his origin story and whatnot. And that was a 7-page origin story put in an anthology called Super Abled Comics, which was directed towards kids who are growing up with limb differences. And I fell in love with the process. I love collaborating with people. I love being able to create characters. And so I really caught the bug after I made that 7-page origin story, which is in the first issue of Cobalt in the back. And so I started messing with it a little more, getting ready for a Super Abled Volume 2, but the guys weren't ready to do it. And I was like, well, I kind of want to go out and create a full-length comic for Cobalt then. They gave me their blessing and I went out and did it. Found a new artist who's a little bit more gritty, a little more rough in the art style of Patrice Reynolds or Mike Grell. If you've ever known those artists, Mark Grell, he did art for Green Arrow's Longbow Hunters.
Okay. And, yes, that is. I was trying to place.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Patrice Reynolds, he did some cover artwork for Dark Horse's The Mask run that they did, where the storyline of I pledge allegiance to the mask or something like that. Okay. But that very realistic, gritty look that should be done with vigilante characters of the street level. Fell in love with it. Erwin Arosa became my interior artist. My cover artist there was Max Bertolini. He did cover art for Heavy Metal Magazine, Dark Horse, and a couple others. but just collaborating with people was great. After the success of Cobalt Atlantis Thrashing, Dojo Kun actually came to me and asked me if I wanted to launch my campaign with him on Bancroft's channel together. And when he did that, I was just like, I was in awe because I didn't expect anybody, be like, it's just little old me creating, what some might look at as fan fiction or whatever, but, but he saw that I'm willing to do the work, put in the time and the effort. And I guess that's what he saw anyway. But
yeah, well, that's what's inspiring about some of these small online communities is that if there is if there was some genuinity, that's whatever, make up some words, there,
words.
In the product, like, because people that truly care about art and like what goes into it, and being an artist and a fan of art things myself, like, I appreciate it when the person writing and drawing my comics like actually give a shit about the comics that they're writing and drawing, and it's actually something that means something to them, because then it makes you more endeared. And it's the same way with music. Like when when I know the people that I'm listening to are actually caring about their craft and the way that they make their music and how much time they put into writing their songs and crafting the engineering, it makes you like appreciate it that much more, especially when they are taking the extra step, which is the worst step of them all, which is actually going out there and promoting and putting your stuff out yourself, which is the hardest thing to do. Or at least I know for me, especially when you're an artist type, going out and shouting from the rooftops that everyone needs to watch.
Our thing.
Like it's not your thing. Like I have a really hard time doing it. Like I will talk about it, but I don't want to feel like I'm bothering people. Like I make cartoons that I think are really fun. I think they're amazing for one person doing everything for it. Like, and I'll tweet about it and post it and everything, but it's still like, and I have like comics and music and I still like, I want people to do it, but I also don't want to force it on anybody. And so it's one of those things where you got to find this weird kind of compromise to be able to get your place out there, which is where I'm finding it with the podcast, like with the podcasting is because, coming from a more like traditional old school background of things, like on the music and the producer end, and combined with my love of stand-up comedy, and I like the way the stand-up comics are presenting the product that they're selling, which is their comedy. And I appreciate their format in doing that. And so that's kind of where I'm like modeling what I'm doing, because like the market that's out there for audio people is way beyond just what YouTube reaches. And so like I want to do both, like, because there's no reason you can't do some tweaking and get it to where you can have it service the different arts. And then but that's how definitely. You get people to be like, oh, okay, I think they're all right as a human. I might want to support something they do, and they'll go over to your website hopefully one day eventually. But promoting is it's tough for
it is. Yeah, my first time actually stepping out to try and get on different streams, it wasn't as difficult as it was nerve-wracking being new to the scene, right? So back in 2018, after we did Super Abled, I very much started going on YouTube and just looking at different artists and creators and what they have to say about creating comic books. Mark Crilly was one of the first ones that I ever looked at. He does very independent comic books that he draws and storylines himself. And I started listening to him, and then the little sub boxes started popping up with different content from different creators. Started listening to Eric July. Love Young Ripa. He's great.
I weirdly found my way in through like to the comics gate through because I didn't come in through comics. I came in through the free speech movement because all of my favorite comedians were getting canceled.
Oh, well, if we're going to go like how we actually came through, I think Vic Mignonia with Broly, I think that's what came into
and it. So, and Eric July was one of the crossovers that kind of came through where I was like, oh, cool. Like, cause I also do music. Like I was most successful as a hip hop artist. And so I was, when I was like listening to his stuff, I was like, okay, man, this guy's actually, he's actually good. Like he's legit. I like, and it's hard to get legit nu metal. Like there are very few like nu metal groups where I'm like, yeah, like there's a group called Downset from that is they're from back in the day. That is
there's a new band that's been well, they're not new, but I just heard of them recently. They're called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard of them, but I haven't listened to them, I don't think, but I've seen the name pop up. And I'm always like, oh, that's funny.
But Think Fish and String Cheese Incident, that's what you get. But they recently changed up their sound to where it's more 80s rock and roll with metal, kind of eclectic a little bit, but man, they can wail. I went to a live show after they changed it up a bit. Man, I hadn't rocked out so hard. It was so awesome. It was after Dragon Con in 2018, actually.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Get your stamp of approval for today. Awesome. Dojo, you said you had another book you wanted to promote. There was another thing to flubbly transition through there. I was like, I looked at the time and I was like, oh man, we're rolling. And so I was like, I better bring it up just to make sure we get it in there.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Jake mentioned it. We're going to launch the same day on Bancroft's channel, which is February 18th. And in addition to launching at the same time, we've also got a special print that will be created that we are going to provide for free for anyone who backs both of our campaigns at a physical tier. So if you back both campaigns, you're going to get a free homage print created by Shelby Robertson. Now, Shelby is the one who's created Ragetality, 1980 or 94, it's called. He's done a lot of prints and covers from other folks, like Relentless Tin Soldier has a Shelby Robertson cover. Tragedy has a Shelby Robertson cover. So this homage print that he's going to do for us is going to be an homage to X-Men number 141, which is Days of Future Past, which has Wolverine and Kate Pryde on the cover in the spotlight. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that cover. Yeah. And so we're going to have Cobalt and my protagonist Naya on the cover in their place. And then on the wanted poster behind them will be 15 different CG characters. So we've got a lot of folks who are involved. I don't want to list who they are. I'd like it to be a surprise as to who's there. One of the things I will say though is on the X-Men cover, across the face of the X-Men, a lot of them said apprehended or slain. And a lot of the folks that wanted to participate in that would prefer neither of those to be on their character's face. And the more I thought about it, I'm thinking, when it's an X-Men character on the cover, if you obscure most of their face with like the word apprehended, you can still recognize who it is because, they've been around for so long. But for these CG characters, some of whom are, very new, I don't want anything obscuring the art. So we're not going to have anything across their face. We're just going to have their names underneath their pictures. And of course, the poster will still say wanted across the top. So, it will allude to a storyline, which of course won't be told with, 19 different characters, but at least, the cover will be an homage to that. And it'll be fun to get that print, I'm sure. So about my campaign then, I mentioned my protagonist's name is Naya. Naya is known as a shifter. And that's the name of the book. It's the Healing Wars, Book 1, Part 1, cool. The Shifter.
I was going to ask if that was the
I've got a license with an award-winning novelist named Janice Hardy, who wrote the trilogy called The Healing Wars. And I reached out to her. A friend of mine actually works with her husband and said that he could get me in touch with her. So I reached out to her to see if she would be willing to allow me to adapt this into comic book form. And she and her husband are actually comic book fans. So she thought that was a great idea. I've got an artist from Brazil who is creating the art on this. He also did the art on Siamese numbers 3 and 4. So he and I have been working together for years now. We've got a great rapport going. When I send him a script, I very rarely have to ask him to change anything. He's spot on with his interpretation of my scripts. And I'm not going to say that's rare, but that's really a great thing to find.
No, that is rare. Like, as an artist, it's sometimes hard deciphering. Like, I've kind of left projects where I've been like, it just stopped being fun because I just didn't get what.
Oh, okay.
Like, where, like, because you're not the person writing it, and so it's like, so sometimes, like, you got to be on the same wavelength with the person that you're working with. I mean, and it's important through all forms of media, same way with like film and video. Like,
sure.
Like, if you're not on the same wavelength with the person you're on the project with, then that gets kind of weird. So that being said, yes, it is, once you find someone through whatever art form that you're working with, where you're on the same page with when you're collaborating, those are good relationships to hold on to.
So both of us have a bit of skill that we have to apply to that. Number one, English isn't his first language. He speaks Portuguese because he's from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
And but he does really well. And then secondly, I write my scripts as if they're a screenplay or a play, because I've been an actor ever since I was a sixth grader. I've also been a singer ever since the sixth grade. So, but for writing my scripts, I write them very, very detailed. Now he does have the freedom to change things up if he thinks he's got a better idea. I don't mind at all. If he says, "Hey, Brian, what do you think about, what if we did it from this angle? Or what do you think if I did it this way?" And more times than not, he's got a great idea, and I love to run with it, because I truly believe that the artist is just as much a storyteller as the writer is. So in fact, a lot of times where I think I need to do a lot of exposition, it occurs to me, no, you know what? He's going to cover that in the picture that he draws. Right. So I don't have to explain all of this. It's going to be very evident in what Zilson draws for me. So yeah, his name is Zilson Costa. And my colorist is from Spain. She's H.G. Tobalina. And my letterer is from Argentina. He is Matthias Zanetti. So it's a very international team on this book.
Nice.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. So let me tell you a little bit about the storyline. Naya is a shifter, like I said. There are some people in her world who are able to do, there's something called a taker. They can take pain from somebody and shift it into this blue metal. It's called pinvium. It's like a cobalt blue metal. And hey, there's a tie-in. You like that, Jake?
Cobalt.
So a lot of folks can do that, but Naya's ability is flawed. She can take the pain from someone, but she cannot push it into the metal. She can just push it into another person. Okay. Now, her nation has been taken over by an enemy nation, so she's got to be careful not to be discovered, because if they discover she can take pain from one person and shift it into another, she fears that she'll be weaponized against her own people. So she's an orphan. She's on the run. She's able to find jobs now and then, but then when her sister goes missing, because she's a taker, she's got to compromise some of her sensibilities and moralities. She comes to a few forks in the road where she's got to make some big decisions, and it goes from there. Somebody who is what's called a pain merchant discovers her, and then her world starts in her hero's journey.
Nice. Fun adventure story in a different land. I enjoy stories like that. That it reminds me of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and
I could see that.
Like the adventure theme, coming of age. People are like trying to accomplish something on the run, like classic story tropes. I love, like, as a writer, like, I love, like, picking up on those different things and seeing the ways that different characters are built up and interpreted on the adventure that they are going on through their world.
So very much like the main characters in the Hunger Games or Divergent, this protagonist doesn't set out to be a hero of any kind. It's just that the world around them creates situations where they've got to step up. So just like Katniss, she did not plan to be the hero, but circumstances were such that she needed to save her sister. So then she, volunteered as tribute. And a lot of the things then that Naya goes through, again, to save her sister, but definitely different circumstances. I think that those stories is what I would liken the Healing Wars to. And she goes from meager beginnings to, of course, the hero's journey. She becomes a hero at the end, but it's not the end. I mean, of course you expect the end. I'll be honest, it's pretty predictable. But on the other hand, the storyline getting you there, the journey is what makes the books so exciting.
Yeah. I like the time period aesthetics so far that's showing on the like with the steamboat.
Oh yeah, it would be like it would be if it was on Earth, it would be like during our Renaissance.
And those are the different time are always a fun story. Like the I don't know. I mean, not to weeb it up. Like, I'm not a huge anime fan, but there are a few pieces where
careful,
where I'm like, okay, the like Full Metal Alchemist. Like, I appreciate that. Where yeah, I know.
There's this channel that you should probably hit up. Black Rose Comics.
But I know it's not it's not to be talked about in some circles, but I don't hate it. Like some of because I look at everything as how well the story's executed, like with the characters and the interesting animation techniques. I love watching shows to pick those things out. Like I notice you got that Bruce Timm Superman behind you.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I realized that like for a lot of DC, like I like what Bruce Timm did. Like I wish that was what a lot of DC Comics really was. So I love the whole Bruce Timm era.
That is the Clark Kent Superman that I grew up with and will always hope that they embody sooner or later when it comes to the DCEU.
The Superman show, like all of them, Static Shock, the Justice League, Batman Beyond, even the Zeta spinoff.
Yep.
So I huge Bruce Timm fan. I actually, when I lived in LA, I worked on The Bachelor, the TV show, before everything was shut down. And I worked in I worked for the company that made the show. Like I didn't work for necessarily for them. They made other shows. That was just one of the shows that they made. And where our office was, in Burbank was in the same building as the DC Superhero Girls show. Like our floor was right under them, and like I just started, like I had just met, like, and started running into like two or three of the same people that worked on the show, and so it's like, oh man, like, because after the lockdown hit, I was like, there goes my chance of meeting Bruce Timm and running into him in the elevator.
So close.
And so, like. Cause we were on the floor underneath them, and so I was like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, sooner or later, like one day I'll run into, one day I'll get to run into him. But I mean, hey, maybe in a different circumstance. But I'm a big Bruce Timm fan. Like one day, like I was having a discussion about Batman with somebody, and then I like realized I was like, I don't actually like any other Batman other than the Bruce Timm Batman. Like,
isn't that weird how that works?
Yeah, like
The
Michael Keaton Batman. I like that one. I like the Michael Keaton Batman and Bruce Timm. And then other than that, like I just really don't like can't get into it. Like I have reverence for Adam West. Like I love throwing on the old 60s Batman and watching that. Like there's a couple of channels on Roku that you can get where you can watch the Batman show for free. And so,
yes,
but yeah,
I love our shark repellent.
right. And so it's just like a lot of it's circling back, I guess, some like storytelling. Like good storytelling is good storytelling. People knowing the structure and then breaking that structure with interesting character development and just breathing life through a combination of different things. And so, yes, here's to good stories. And
Here.
and I will.
Ryan, I think you're muted.
Yep, sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
I was going to say, if you want to get some good stories, be sure to sign up for both Cobalt, Death Stalks Us, and the Healing Wars, The Shifter. Both of those, like I said, are in the sign-up phase now, and
boom. Cobalt,
you get a secret perk with Cobalt Death Stalks Us, and you get a discount tier if you sign up for the Shifter and then later back it.
I can actually show my secret perk right now.
Oh, not so secret then, I guess.
Oh.
All right. So it's still kind of metal, but a different form, all right? So
Okay.
6 a.m. Comics actually did a chibi for me of my character Cobalt. And,
cool.
So I had stickers which were made real cutesy chibis, you know? So
Awesome.
and
Wait, no. There's more to wait. Hold on.
for this campaign, the sticker, he looks a little bit more angry, a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like he's constipated almost. And then for the actual physical secret perk, when you sign up on the mailing list, you're going to get this chibi as a magnet.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, maybe people will use magnets more than they do the stickers. So I was like, yeah, that'd be a cool little physical reward to have.
I have some separation anxiety with stickers, like where if I get a cool sticker, I'm like, I don't want to like use it because it's cool, and like because you might throw away whatever it is you're putting it on. Because I have this awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sticker, like it's Eastman and Laird drawing of it.
Okay.
That I can't bring myself to like put it on anything, and so I'm just like, I'm gonna save this. Whereas a magnet, you don't have to use it, but you can use it. It's,
multiple use. Yep.
Yeah, so that is that is a good idea with the because most people have fridges.
Yeah, I would love to see nothing but a collage of different CG characters as magnets. That would be beautiful.
Yes.
I take pictures and post it all over Twitter and Facebook.
Oh yeah, that would be where everybody's collecting the different poker chips or put out the fridge magnets, and then send in your picture of your fridge of your magnet collage.
Yep.
Right.
That'd be sick. That'd be great.
And do that. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being on. I will go through and we'll give you guys a second to plug your stuff. Tell everybody where they can find you. Whoever wants to go first.
Brian?
Okay, thank you, Jake. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/c/Dojo Kun Comics. You can find me. My website is dojokuncomics.wixsite.com/Dojo Kun Comics. And then on Twitter, I'm at Dojo Kun Comics. I like to keep it, standard or consistent. And then, of course, the campaigns that Trash Can Conductor said he's going to put in the description.
Right. Yes, and I will also include the links to the your website and YouTube.
Great, thank you.
And all of those things as well. And so all the links you mentioned, I will be sure to add them in the description below.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. The helps you out, and it helps the more things you put in there, the more serious the algorithm takes it. And
awesome.
And so yes, like I'm definitely going to be want to get people coming your way to see what you guys make because these stories sound awesome. Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram under bionic_bruh, BRUH, or you can find me under at TaleEnd Studio on either Instagram or Twitter. Those are my 2 tags. Those are the only 2 places you'll find me.
Awesome. I will get those links in the description below. And so please, guys, check out their projects. Please help support independent creators, people that are putting in their own hard blood, sweat, and tears and passion into art and into, just trying to do their part to help make the world a better place.
Wow.
Lofty.
We sound lofty.
It is it's one of those like kind of like cheesy, not cheesy tongue. Like it is like it's
escapism entertainment.
It is escapism entertainment, and like whether it's highbrow, lowbrow, you're trying to teach a lesson, you're not trying to teach a lesson. The important thing is you're wanting to make something that someone enjoys. And that enjoyment that a person can derive from the product that you're making, they can take that energy and spread it out throughout their day. And so that is, where it starts by supporting the everyday man, the average guy, like you were talking about earlier with the your campaign, little old me raised it's important, and and that's why it's important for us to whether we want to or not get out there and talk about our stuff.
It's fun too. It's great. If you're a creator and you don't have an outlet, man, come to our community. Come to the indie community, because we will put you on a pedestal just to see you succeed. We don't care who you are, where you're from. We want to hear your 2 cents. We want to back your 2 cents with our 2 cents. It's just great. I love it.
We enjoy the phrase that we are in co-opetition, where we cooperate with one another to see each other succeed, but we're also in competition, because we're trying to raise the bar, and each of us tries to do a little bit better than we ourselves did on our last campaign.
Yeah. I can't end it any better than that. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Play Nice podcast. I will catch you all on the next one. Thanks for checking out the Play Nice podcast. I would appreciate it if you would check out my website, trashcanconductor.com. I am an artist. I do cartoons. I've got a fun cartoon called Awkward Ghost Moments. You can check that out there. I've got a adult humored comic, a mature humor comic, Johnny No Pants. I also do music. You can get that over on Bandcamp. There's a link to it there. You can also get merch. I sell things. I have fun T-shirts, coffee mugs, and things like that. And if you would also like to follow me on any of the social medias, you can find me at Trash Can Conductor. And there are also links to everything up at the website, trashcanconductor.com. So thank you very much for checking it out, and I hope to see you again soon.